This is for the camera, for the
Yep.
recording part out there for broadcasting, so
But don't
we'll
we,
ask them.
don't we normally sing or something?
Just gonna ask them.
Bruce? What's your screen look like? You can see how he can join. Yeah. Put the camera.
It's not connected, he's not connected for GoTo. Well, we don't have, we probably actually don't even have anyone coming on GoTo tonight, so.
Just go, is that what he's saying?
So,
All right. Welcome to the Sturbridge Conservation Commission meeting for November 16th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. We are in Veterans Hall on the second floor, 308 Main Street in Sturbridge. The Conservation Commission is holding this meeting in person with the option for virtual attendance. In-person attendance will be at the meeting I just related. Let's go to attendance. Eric?
Present. Ted Winglass, present.
Roy Bishop, present.
Carsten Stuber, present.
And Ed Goodwin, present. So we have full attendance. Do we have any Barnacle walk-ins?
Nope, nothing
No.
over.
So we can go directly to Paradise Lane?
Want to do
Yes,
this?
to read.
Oh, you go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
read that.
In the interest of saving time, the Sturbridge Conservation Commission will hold all public hearings tonight for work within a wetland water body or resource area and/or within the 200-foot buffer zone to a wetland water body or resource area in accordance with the Mass Wetland Protection Act, Chapter 131, Section 40, and associated regulations, and the Town of Sturbridge wetland bylaws and associated regulations. We will not be reading the newspaper ad. Prior to opening the first hearing for each project, the applicant is to submit proof of notification to abutters within 200 feet of the subject property line and proof of legal newspaper advertisement. If these items are not submitted, the public hearing will not open. Additionally, prior to the start of each public hearing, we will announce the location of the project, the applicant, and the applicant's representative. If any of the visitors have not legibly signed in yet, please do. Also, if any visitors are recording this meeting, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. 6:05 p.m., we have 74 Paradise Lane, which is continued with a notice of intent. Paver driveway installation, DEP file number 300-1178.
Right, so first, just for the record, we do have the Mullen form completed by 10 Winglass for the missed public
Right,
hearing for
okay.
this. Actually, I don't think that the engineer was going to come on. This was just a continuation where we were waiting for the DEP file number.
Yep.
There were no concerns raised at the last one. Oh, someone might be jumping in here.
Gave me something to eat.
All right,
I was
this might be the
supposed to.
problem.
Gave me something
There's no
to drink.
reason.
Right, there's no reason not,
This is
yeah,
straight away.
exactly. So, my recommendation is, as there was no concerns raised last time, to move forward with it now that we have the DP file number, they had no comments. Recommend voting to close the hearing, approve the project pursuant to the Wetlands Protection Act with our standard conditions, immediate removal of the excavated material off-site, which they did, agree to that because there's really nowhere to stockpile it regardless. And then that the proper installation of the pervious paver driveway shall be documented and certification of such shall be submitted to the SEC with photographic evidence. This shall include a letter from a qualified professional that was completed per the plan design specs, and to include a perpetual condition for the operations and maintenance activities needed to keep the driveway permeable, which they had included with their application for us.
Right.
And then it would be the same conditions under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Nothing from the public, then.
We can go to the public. This is,
Oh, motion to close.
what?
Motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Second that. Any discussion? All right. Do we have a motion to approve the project as
We need to
described?
vote first, and then we'll,
Oh, did we not vote on that?
yeah,
All
Eric
right.
Gaspar in favor.
All right.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Okay.
With regards to 74 Paradise Lane, DEP file number 300-1178, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Wetland Protection Act with the conditions outlined by the agent.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to 74 Paradise Lane, DEP file number 300-1178, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland bylaws with the same conditions under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? None? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, we're going to go to 94 Hall Road. Continued notice of intent, culvert modification, DEP file number 300-1179. All right, McClure Engineering.
Yes. Good evening, Chris McClure, McClure Engineering, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, the owners of the apartment complex on 94 Hall Road. We were in front of you folks a few weeks ago regarding this project. We were waiting for a DEP number. At that time, we discussed the project, and there was a couple of minor modifications or additions that we thought prudent to add, and we had done those to the plans, and basically it's a fence for safety purposes on the front side of the higher culvert. If you'd like me to rehash the project, basically it's the abandonment of an existing 24-inch corrugated metal pipe culvert that's failing and replacing it with a 30-inch HDP culvert. The culvert currently goes underneath the this particular apartment building, and we will be diverting it around the building. Previously, in 2020, the remaining portion, I guess that would be the southwest, the lower portion would across the road. That area was replaced under an emergency order. Now we're looking to abandon and replace the section that connects the upper portion of the stream down into the existing catch basin. There's going to be some improvements in those basins with the hood and whatnot, but pretty much limited by what we can do here based upon the existing conditions at the site.
Any questions from your point of view? Did we get a fence at the back of that?
We did, yes.
Okay, all right.
Questions?
None.
All right, any questions from the audience? Seeing none,
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to 94 Hall Road, DEP file number 300-1179, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Wetland Protection Act with the agent's conditions noted in the detailed agenda.
Second that.
Second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to 94 Hall Road, DEP file number 300-1179, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland bylaw with the same conditions outlined under the Wetland Protection Act approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right,
Great, thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Thanks Becky and Aaron for all the help during the process.
Oh, no problem. Right on time here, so.
What? We're on time, huh?
I like the 6:07 start time.
Well,
Very precise.
remember when we'd have 15-minute hearings and then we'd set them at the meeting, so you couldn't do anything about it. Now there's a little flexibility, which is nice. Put the screen up. Now I'm behind.
We're on 6:10. We're getting good at this.
You want to read, did you already read it?
Beg your
Did
pardon?
you already read the opening for the hearing?
Oh, I didn't read it? Okay, I will do that.
I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know.
We were so on time, I figured we were doing it already. 168 Lane 7, continued notice of intent, raise and rebuild of a lakefront single-family home, DEP file number 300-1177. Gentlemen, all right?
Good evening. So, my name's David Feist. I'm the project civil engineer with CMG, and with me is the property owner, Stephen Quink. I know we've revised the plans based on comments received from the agent in the last hearing. We'd be happy to answer any questions. The main change is that some of the improvements in the rear have been eliminated. The concrete patio that was proposed is now going to be just shrunk back to basically a sort of a landing area coming out of the lower part of the home. And it will be raised and then reconstructed in the same location. We did add the well location to the plan, as well as move the stockpile out side of the 200-foot zone. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right. Becky, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but with the revised plan, there was the narrative too that went through each of the comments and had a detailed response in that for you too.
Okay, yeah.
Was there any, I didn't see it, there was a comment from the health agent?
Yes.
Was that addressed?
So they did provide the Title V. I think he does have some additional questions, but I think they can work with Board of Health to resolve those with their process. So I think that at this point in time, that it's not a concern for us. If something does come up and you do have to do something, then you would have to come back at that time.
Yep, that's understood. Makes sense.
I think he's looking for just like a little more information about the status of the tank and the leach field, maybe cammering it or something of that nature, to work through that. So better do that now before you file the building permit and kind of get held up at that point, so.
Yeah. Well, just thank you for listening to the comments and making the appropriate changes. Appreciate it. No further comments.
No, good through the
I'm good.
CMG report. It's
I'm good.
I'm fine.
All right. Anybody in the audience like to speak?
Hearing
Going
none.
once, going twice?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to 168 Lane 7, DEP file number 300-1177, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under this Wetland Protection Act with the agent's conditions outlined in the detailed agenda.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to 168 Lane 7, DEP file number 300-1177, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions already discussed as part of the Wetland Protection Act and also an additional condition of a surety bond deposit of $5,000.
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stube in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
That's it.
Great, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, folks.
Wow, we're ahead of schedule. We got 5 minutes.
We have a
Smoke
couple
them if you
things.
got them.
Have a good night, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, you too.
Me too.
Couple things we can go over. Number 10 on the agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance. This is for 106 Westwood Drive, DEP file number 300-1109. This project was a shoreline and buffer zone work where they actually did some plantings on a steep slope in the buffer zone, as well as put stairs in and some shoreline modifications. It was actually done 2 years ago, and they had a waiting time frame to ensure that the planting succeeded. So we did receive that request and the materials we needed with that, and did go out and take a look at it, and it's in compliance. So I recommend issuance of a complete certificate, and the perpetual conditions were number 37 and 30 through 39.
With regards to the project at 106 Westwood Drive, DEP file number 300-1109, I'd like to make a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 37, 38, and 39.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stube in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
So I don't know if you, not all of you were probably on the board then, but we had 3 projects in a row there, and they've all been closed out, so. Yeah.
Good. So you can't say they don't close them out.
Well, they do it with much greater velocity with the bonds.
Yeah.
Want to do number 11?
Yep. This is 1 Cedar Pond Road, a request for certificate of compliance, file number 300-1070. This was for a single-family house addition. It was right at the 100-foot buffer zone on the property. It did include stormwater structures along the side of the addition. We did receive the as-built plan in a letter of substantial compliance and went out and did a site visit. It is complete, it's been done per plan, there's no concerns with it. Recommend issuance of the complete certificate with the perpetual condition number 45 outlined in the order.
With regards to 1 Cedar Pond Road, DEP file number 300-1070, I'd like to make a motion to issue a complete certificate of compliance with the perpetual condition number 45.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stube in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Okay, we're still administrative decisions.
I'd like to make a
Yes.
motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from October 5th, 2023.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion or omissions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stube in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting from October 26th, 2023.
I second it.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass abstain.
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stube in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
By the time you read it,
What?
it will be 6:20, I think, so.
All right. We are now at 6:20. 72 Paradise Lane, notice of intent, construction of a cantilever dock, DEP file number, no number. Okay.
All right, so as we don't have the DEP file number, we will need to continue it. So I think the best thing is we'll allow Mark to present the project, go over, and if there's any questions, comments, or concerns, can share those, and then we'll have to continue regardless. I'll pull up,
We do have everything to open the hearing.
thank you.
We have received proof of legal advertisement and a butter notification to open the hearing.
Okay, great.
All set?
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark Levine, from Ground Effects, representing Bob Muscaro. We're proposing to build a single cantilever dock, 6 foot wide, 32 foot long. We have applied for a Chapter 91 Waterways Simplified License, and with their requirements, this one falls well within their requirements. On this particular dock, all of the dock structure is beyond the shoreline wall. The carrying beams would be cut through the existing stone wall, and the counterweight would be below ground behind the wall. In completion, the existing ground surface will be restored to its original state. There's no plants to be disturbed or anything like that involved with this dock. It's a pretty straightforward one. I don't know if you have any other questions, any questions on it?
My only question would be, I read through the docs and the whole addition to the agenda. So is cantilevers, are they at all regulated like the fixed docks at 25 feet or no?
That's a seasonal dock you're talking about.
Yeah, so the Board of Selectmen can act as, there's the review part that comes under us for Wetlands Protection Act and the bylaw,
Yeah.
and then there's an ownership part, we've talked about this, but for everybody else. And
Yeah, so
Because-
they're the harbor master.
Exactly, for
the
seasonal,
town, yeah,
yep.
I got all that, yeah.
And then DEP regulates the permanent structures, and they do have some requirements that need to be met for that. So the 25 feet for them is off the side of a property line. They don't have the restrictions for the length. The 25, they do have some, but it's pretty large. It's like a quarter across the
state,
water body. But the Board of Selectmen do have a restriction to 25 feet for the length for the seasonal structures.
All the ones in the past that we've done have been 25 feet or less. They're on the east side of the lake, which the water level drops down. It's like 20 feet deep at that point. But these, we're just trying to get out to 30, at 35 feet or 34 feet, the water level is like 4.5 feet deep. So that's the reason that we're trying to get out a little bit further so that the
I
dock.
figured it's, you're trying to get to deeper water. It's not under, I don't think it's under our jurisdiction where they give you 30 feet or 100 feet to get out to.
Yeah.
My question was, did it apply to cantilever docks or not? But
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah, the only, I mean, I have the regulations for the Chapter 91, and we have to stay under 600 square feet. And they have a, in that parameter, you can go a quarter of the way across the water, which, that's not going to happen, but, so that's,
Instead of under 600 feet,
Yeah.
unless it's really narrow.
right.
And I think that's also because it's for rivers too. It's not, this simplified license, right, is any navigable
But that's a way to
waterway.
restrict it on a river, yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think
pretty-
so, yeah,
it's small,
yeah.
I mean, we are trying to make, from the ones that we've done on the lake in the past, we're trying to follow the regulations that are listed in the Chapter 365 a little bit more, and not building any dock over the lawn, over the land. It's all from the water line out, everything in when the construction's finished, there'll be no visible sign of the counterweight. Plants can grow over the top of it, grass and stuff like that.
Did we get a chance back to have town council and the board of selectmen weigh in on their position on this?
So, yeah, a memo was sent to
Yes,
the
we got
Board of
it.
Selectmen. I think they're looking into it. They did discuss it at their last meeting, and they wanted to look into all of the regulations that surround docks in general and get some feedback from town council on it. But they didn't, at the time, they didn't decide to weigh in individually on these applications.
I saw with it, somewhat gray area, lakes and conservation, and I don't want to be a regulatory body on dock lengths.
Yeah, no, it was a terrible experience when we did it. We used to do it. And,
Yeah, no, people are kidding.
yeah, and
They already don't like
we
this.
went from, all I can say is that when the selectmen took it over, And it was great,
Yeah.
you know, from our point of view. But we do have a 25-foot no disturb on the banking.
Yeah.
And within this, describe how this is, there's going to be no disturbance with this proposal on that, if you could. And also, I'd like to hear a little bit on the engineering that's going to keep this 6 inches above the water or whatever for, 32 feet over time in memoriam.
Okay, well, as far as the disturbance goes, there is the disturbance of the excavation for the counterweight. It's approximately 10 foot wide by 10 foot wide and 3 to 4 feet deep.
Why does it have to be 10 foot wide by 10 foot wide?
That's to get the achievable weight in the concrete counterweight that will support all possible weight that the dock will need to support.
What is the achievable weight on a 32-foot dock?
Well, I know that it'll support 30,000 pounds.
It needs to support 32,000 pounds, and so do you counter that with 32,000 pounds of cement, or what?
Correct.
But it's still a lever, right? So it wouldn't be, the further out it goes, it couldn't be, wouldn't have, I don't understand how you get the 32,000 pounds.
That's just done from the metal shop that we buy the metal from. They tell us what we need for a counterweight, so that, and then we, the beams are hanging out, if this is the beam.
Right.
If it's a 12-inch beam, then we weld ribbing on the outside of it, and that stiffens it up even more. The 5 that we've done on the lake have proven that, they'll stay there, they don't move. I mean, some of them have been there for 7 or 8 years, with absolutely no deflection at all in the beam. They're a heavy beam.
I was unavailable to go on the site visits for these, and I don't even know if we went and looked at the property. But are there any pictures of the shoreline other than just the
I didn't
artist
take any
rendering?
when I was out there. However, like this one, there is a man-made stone wall there. And behind that is a patio that's already existing. And that's what's shown in this bottom one here. Right, so the dock's here, and this is what he's showing is the upland area. He's got the existing stone wall, got the patio, a little bit more of a patio, and then this is all lawn here.
So, I mean, I get Ed's point. In fact, I was going to ask something fairly similar. I mean, normally when we're looking for restoration, we look for a 2-to-1 restoration. So if there's going to be a disturbance within the 25 foot, we have a 25-foot no touch. And I understand the applicant's position, but what I don't understand is why there's no additional mitigating factors built into this plan that would offset the 25-foot no touch.
What I understand is this house is coming down, and there's a whole file, and that the trees are coming down, there's being planting done, so that's why that we didn't offer any more in the way of
Along the
mitigating.
shoreline though, or if it's all grass, can we naturally vegetate?
I think most of the plantings were on the left side of the property here for looking at this, the western side, if you remember. I mean, I can pull the plan
I was
up.
gonna
What,
say,
you know,
I might
one of
have
the-
a picture from the other application.
They were doing a big
Walls.
restoration there. There might have been a few things up front. I know there is a ash tree up front that's coming out, but there could be other areas of opportunity to maybe to do things to add that mitigation. So in order to get the waiver, right, you gotta show that you've gone through an alternative analysis process, kind of minimize those impacts and show that benefit, that 2-to-1 for that impact area. So I know on the eastern side of the property, there probably could be some opportunities.
Well, and that's the challenge that I have, right, just from a precedent standpoint. There is an alternative here, which is a seasonal deck that just comes in and out. There's an easy alternative without disturbing this, this 10 by 10 space, plus we're going 3 foot down. So we're talking, 300 square feet? that, or cubic feet that are going down. So it's not an insignificant disturbance right there on the shoreline. So we have an alternative to go with the seasonal deck. I understand what the applicant's desire is, and myself, I'm willing to listen, but what I want is some sort of offset to improve the overall situation of the property to justify the disturbance that could have ripple effects that, you know,
Couple of questions. So the other ones that you've built, were they built the same way?
No, well, structurally, yes, but they have, some of them are double docks, and there was deck that connects the two, so it looked like a horseshoe. So, those, we've eliminated those connector points. And also, the counterweight was higher, and so the dock was flush over the water and went over the land 10 or 12 feet to cover the counterweight. So essentially, the water would go through the deck on the counterweight and then off. This one, we're trying to keep the counterweight down 8. Some of the properties, the way the grade is, will be down a foot or two below the grade with the top of the counterweight. But in every case, will be 8 to 12 inches so that we can at least plant grass for an access way to the dock.
And then, what's the current structure? I wasn't at the site walk, I was away. So what's the current type of wall that's there?
It's a masonry wall, it's a tight wall built with, mortar supporting it.
Okay.
And all we would do is cut 2 sleeves through it to run the beams through it. And then there's a patio behind it, and that we would take out and put that back. So, basically you would never see or know that the counterweight is underneath there.
So the counterweight actually is proposed to sit underneath the patio.
Right.
Okay.
See, from my point of view, and you're gonna look at, he's gonna tell you about 3 more of them. I think there's 2 things that have to happen here, or should happen. You guys need to take a look at these sites, because they vary greatly. And like this one here, generally speaking, at the upfront, I see no reason why this wouldn't be doable. But it would need a plan that did not include grass going back in, that had plants that were going to be an improvement. This is a request for a waiver.
Yep.
And in order to get the waiver, it's my opinion that we can let them do somewhat what they want to, but that we get some detail out of this. Right now, it's just, we're gonna put some grass back in there.
Well, this one is just to put the patio back where it is.
Yeah.
So.
But I'd like you guys to see it. There's another one where they're looking for 2 docks out.
Well, let's take one at a time.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just.
We're gonna remove so you said there's a concrete wall there, so that's not going to be moved, you're gonna
It's a
drill a
stone
hole
wall.
through
The
it.
stone wall is very
Put
tight.
your counterweight behind it.
Correct.
But I agree, Ed, I'd like to see the project. I apologize, I was away, I'm not trying to delay anything, but you don't have a DEP filing.
We're not delaying anything, but they don't have a.
Right.
Yeah,
Said that.
I'm willing to go back out
So-
whenever.
And the other thing I think we need to do is to, I spoke with Robin today, and I think we need to get input from the selectmen. Because, like you were saying, the way I ideally see this is, we've got the ground, okay, and that's it. But on the other hand, if nobody has the water from Sturbridge, then we have to, in other words, if some of the lengths of these that they want are unacceptable. This is not unacceptable, but some of them are and will be. So we need to figure out how we're going forward. We need the selectmen to move.
That's where I've read on other projects too.
Right,
Yeah, I don't want to be in that position as a conservation commission
Yeah.
to spat with an applicant over the size and length of a dock.
Again, I'm just following the rules that I know exist.
I get it, yeah, we're just having a discussion, we're not,
Yep.
it's not specifically even this, it just happens to be dock night, so.
Sure.
Date night, doc night. But I think too, what's also important too is, right, when we're looking at it under the Wetlands Protection Act, what we're looking at is, right, the impact in the buffer zone, its impact to bank, but here, since it's a stone wall with mortar in it, bank, it's not gonna be a significant impact on the bank performance standards, and that's what we look at. In some situations, it would be, that this would be a big concern. Areas that, land under water is also a resource area here. They already have a dock here, so it's not a new area. If this area had a lot of submerged aquatic vegetation, it would be a really valuable wildlife habitat area for fisheries, et cetera.
Sure.
Putting a dock over that could be a concern. So there are sometimes, in this situation, it's where they have a dock, so I don't see it as a concern, especially with, the length, is a little bit longer. But I think he did articulate why. If they are pulling their boat up on the shore, we're gonna start having some big impacts to land underwater.
I
So,
can't
no,
get into the length of the, I don't
yeah,
care
no, I
about
know.
that. no,
I'm just saying
honest.
that generally
Just-
speaking, so everybody understands.
I
What?
tend to, with your beginning your explanation in this applicant, agree that there's a wall that's not going to be removed or displaced, it's going to be buried underneath, it sounds like an existing patio,
Right.
so it's almost, once it's done and over. So for me, the biggest thing with this will be during construction, how are they going to protect it? And maybe to Eric's point too, is there any offset that, the town gains or the
Waiver.
lake or the
Yeah.
gains, the water gains?
No, I agree. I felt it was important to kind of say that though, so people understand you do have jurisdiction when it comes to those.
Anybody else have comment on this? So what I'd like to do is,
I just had one question before we close.
Go.
Did the select board give us any indication of when they were gonna weigh in on that memo? Would it be prior to the next meeting when we'll likely have a DEP file?
They did not. Robin's supposed to start working with
I think
town
we should
council,
exact
working on it, so.
we
I
could
didn't get
exact-
anything today either, that said that, she
They're
was
gonna put it
gonna,
on
she was
as
gonna
an
talk to the
agenda
selectmen
item.
about it.
I'd like to know when it is.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'd like to hear what that's say.
Well, they did talk
did
about it
have
a
it
little
on
bit
the
the
last
last
meeting.
one, and I did go to it, and at that point, they said
Yeah.
they didn't want to weigh in on individual applications for permanent structures, as they only have seasonal at this time, so that was
But they have to apply anyways.
just with chapter 91, not with the selectmen.
So then have they basically made their opinion that they don't want
I thought
any
there was an
purview?
application to the
What?
Board of Selectmen, to the harbor master, is how I read that.
Nope,
No?
no. Probably, you read that where there was docks.
Yeah.
This isn't a dock, it's a deck. I was confused by it, that's.
Permanent versus seasonal.
But what I'd like to do is continue this one, go on to the next one, and go through them so that we have some idea. I don't know, is that probably a good way to go?
Would you like a continuation?
Yeah, no, that would be great.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing at 62 Mount Dan Road until, when's the next meeting, Ben?
December 7th.
December 7th. Does that work?
We didn't open up the public meeting.
We didn't open it? Yeah, we opened it. Yeah.
I thought this one wasn't open
Yeah,
because,
number 5.
No, we had everything to open it
Postponed
except
it
for,
last
we can't
time.
close it. We can open it, we can't close it.
gotcha.
It was postponed last time. So in regards to going
74
out there
Paradise
and
Lane.
taking a look at it,
Wait a minute, can we second that?
We got a motion on the table here.
To continue, right?
So moved.
No, I need a
Got a
second.
second?
Yeah.
Got a second.
Okay.
Now we're discussing the motion. Was there something?
Okay, it's to December 4th, did you say?
December 7th.
7th. Yep.
And
And,
the site visit would be back, what,
29th.
yeah,
29th? Okay.
all right?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Rod Bishop in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. So then we go to 62, Mount Dan Road.
62, okay.
That is the next one, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So just for the record, we have proof of butter notification and legal ads to open the public hearing.
Okay.
And again, this one also does not have a DEP file number.
Now, so same game, anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the plans.
I can just give you a quick rundown. It's basically the same as that. This property has planting along the shoreline, from property line to property line. There's an 8-foot opening, that's where we put the dock. So as far as, all those plants are gonna remain, it's the same thing, there's an excavation for a counterweight. And in the end, so right now, it's grass that comes down to stairs. In the end of this one, it'll be grass that comes down to the dock.
So it's a set of 8-foot stairs that goes into the water?
They're about 6 feet, they're 8 feet if you can, there's a wall on each side that
Okay.
come down, so that's an 8-foot.
Concrete or?
They're stone in
Stone.
a mortar base as well.
So if you look at the plan here, I think, right, this is where the step is 6 feet, and then the 8 feet will come out over here a little bit.
Yep.
Is the current dock 6 feet? Does it go with the step?
It's a seasonal dock, it's gone. I believe it was a 6-foot wide, I can't be sure.
Is there a reason to go to 8 feet from the 6 feet?
The reason we want to go to 8 foot is at 32 feet out, there's a big rock there. And in order to get boats in, without hitting the prop, it gives us room to get in. You know, every single one of these is a little bit different for different reasons, and that's
Well,
the
that-
reason on this one.
That's important to
Oh,
add.
yeah, but could you go to 4 feet on this and have room to get by the rock?
I'm sure you probably could. 8 foot is what the desire would be.
Yeah, I mean, the question will become, as a town, you know, what are we gonna be looking at? And if you read through the material, what is the harbor master going to allow as a width? It's not supposed to be a patio. That's clearly stated that it is not a patio. And at what point does a deck become a patio? And the only part that really concerns me is that we're coming off with 8 feet with a cantilever, so therefore, you know, what is the matching weight gonna be at 32 feet? It's gonna be bigger and take up more cement.
How big is that proposed camp?
It's the
10 by 10.
exact same as the last
10
one.
by 10?
10 by 10 by
Sorry,
40?
Yeah, I was.
And I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I
sure.
tried to, I could get nowhere with the selectmen and the board of, you know, the harbor master. And again, there's no rules that I can follow other than what the state gives me, which is 600 square feet. And this one is 344 square feet below that. I mean, again, and going to every place I can go to get any direction and using past history, we have built ones that are 10 feet wide on the doubles, that are 6 foot and 4 feet, all kinds of different sizes on this lake that have been approved. So it's hard to now understand. I have nowhere to go to get these dimensions where it should be 4 feet or 6 feet or 8 foot. So that's why.
No, that's understandable, but
Yeah.
we, as I say, we have the main, which includes the shoreline.
I understand. Yeah.
So for us to go, if you go to, there's one of them you've got that is clearly targeted toward becoming a patio at the water's edge. If we allow everybody on the lake to put in a patio at the water's edge, we'll ruin the lake, period.
I don't think I have one that has any
No,
dock.
well, you got one with two docks going out.
Right.
And that's not something you get guidance from. In fact, everything that I read says one, and 25 feet from the
Well, again,
water.
in an hour-and-a-half conversation with the DEP in Chapter 91,
Right.
they've already looked at these plans and said they're fine, and they fall well within, and I get, see, this is what there's all these different entities that have a say in it, but the only one that gives me exact things, guidelines to follow.
Well, what they've given is they've given you the leeway to do what you want.
Well,
More
not
than the
me,
rest
that's
of it.
their regulations.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm just following the one
That
place
would,
that I
they
can go
could
of.
use those regulations, out on Martha's Vineyard for each of the,
Okay, but this is the Inland Waterways Act.
I know, but it's, well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
it's
kind
a-
of don't. I mean, like I had
Have inland
said,
waterways on the Vineyard.
I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Yeah,
I just,
so-
I'm going by past history of what we built on the lake.
Yeah, okay.
And, I'm trying to,
No,
I don't have any guidelines other than given me by the state.
just saying, so you're saying there's a rock that makes it have to go to 8 feet?
It would help the situation, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on this one? Next one?
Oh, no, I'd like,
Go ahead.
I'd like to, with regards to the project at 62 Mount Dan Road, I'd like to make a motion
Well,
to,
if there's anybody in the audience that
We
wants to
like a
speak.
continuance.
would you like a continuance, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak on this one? All right. I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing on 62 Mount Dan Road until December 7th with a site visit on November 29th.
Second
second?
motion?
Discussion?
Who had the second?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Edwin Glass in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. So now we are at the trail, 328 the trail. Okay.
This one is a bit different in that we're proposing to do a shoreline enhancement to combat the current erosion issues and wall failure as the first part of this project. So there's a stone wall that is failing. Water passes through it and goes over the top of it with boat wakes. So it's eroding behind the wall, and it's, the material behind the wall is coming into the lake. So what we're proposing to do is remove the remove the current deck that's on the shore. And so I'm hoping that mitigates some of the, the issues with build on the buffer zone. And then in this rock naturalized wall, we'll have plant pockets so that, there'll be plants in the wall as well as behind the wall. And that's just to create a more naturalized look and stop the erosion that's coming into the lake currently.
Mark, sorry, I pulled up the first plan. You had submitted that revised plan.
We have it.
Yeah, I'll pull that one up, sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't looking at
Oh,
it.
this,
There we go, sorry about that. So that was his first plan, and then after the site visit, you notice it included a deck structure here connecting the two, that was removed.
Right, so
yeah.
the deck, if you're looking at that plan, kind of underneath the shorter dock, right now, there's a 13 by, I believe it's 22-foot deck with built-in stairs that would be removed. And then the area between the two docks, we would have additional buffer zone plants, and same on the right and on the left side.
Okay.
Why do you need two decks?
So then,
Is the counterweight the same size area?
This one's 11 by 10 and 4 feet deep.
Right, I think maybe we just had to put another counterweight for this one. I mean, I can go back
Yeah.
to the other plan, it might show it on there.
that one's 4 by 4 by 6.
And why do they want two docks?
I'm sorry?
Why
What?
do they want two docks?
It'd be 2?
Why do they want the two?
I'm sorry.
Why do they want two docks there?
Well, my understanding is both docks that are there now were there when they bought the house. And so they've accumulated boats, and in order to park the boats, all that dock space is be used. And the reason for the 11-foot wide is so that when guests come over, they can park a boat at the end of the dock, because there's no room for additional boats.
what size is their, dock structures right now?
They're both 4-foot wide, and they go out, they're 24 feet, the same as they are now proposed.
Okay.
All right? You got to see this.
Good question.
So depth
Yeah.
isn't an issue here. These can be shorter at the 24 feet.
I'm sorry.
These docks can be shorter at the 24 feet because the water is a little deeper here, is that
Right.
why?
Yep. And we were working with the square footage of trying to keep it under 400, which is 200 under. You know, I realize where those numbers are and what they matter at this point, but
All right? Any continuation?
Anything from the public? Continuation to the 7th?
Yes.
Like, what's the address on this
328
one?
The Trail.
With regards to the project at 328 The Trail, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until December 7th with a site visit on November 9th. 29th.
All right,
So I get that.
any discussion? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
And Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, and then, 324 The Trail, notice of intent, construction of 2 cantilever docks.
Again, we have proof of legal ad and the butter
Yeah.
notification to open the hearing.
I like the multiple docks on the trail. Okay.
also just circling back a little bit, your question about if it's going to support at that engineered that it will.
Yeah.
This one and this one, well, there's two here that are going out 35 foot. The water is extremely shallow on this one. That's why we're requesting the 35 again. But we can build fold-down steps, you know, that, a fold-down pier that comes down, a leg, so to speak, that folds down, and that will help support as well, if it was needed. So this one is, there's a wall that's in good shape there right now. So we would be slicing through the same way on the dock that you're looking at on the left-hand side, dock number 2. Dock number 1, the seasonal dock there has a concrete block underneath it that is the waterline face. So we're proposing to take that counterweight out, build the stone wall, a matching stone wall over to that boulder on the right-hand side, and then start the process of slicing through that and putting the counterweight behind it. So they're all basically constructed in the same manner. And this one, we've added planting between them as well.
Get a approximate square footage of planting and how far off of the shoreline the plantings are gonna go?
That is
Oh, I suppose that looks like about 5 feet.
5 feet, yep.
And no plantings here to the right?
No, there's a lot of natural vegetation on that side that we wouldn't disturb.
Oh, okay. Any logic behind meeting, like it says top of both counterweights need to be grass 10 feet? Is that because you're gonna have trouble getting any natural vegetation or anything on top of the concrete to really flourish?
You know, there
Or,
are plenty of plants that we could do that, but the reason is just to have a, you know, access to the dock.
no, I get that,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
does it need to be the full 10 feet? Just like the previous, well, I won't bring it up.
Yeah.
Does this need to be the full 10 feet in order to accomplish that? Can it be 6 feet and?
Yeah, no, there'd be plants that, I know that the clients would be willing to squeeze it in and, you know, so that dock is 7 foot wide, get it down to, you know, a 4 foot wide opening and have plants encroach inside. The boats are extremely important to both of this one and the one we just looked at, because they already own all these boats that they have,
No, understood,
yeah.
understood.
Mark, I forget, but did you have a list of plantings or proposed native plantings, shrubs and herbaceous in these areas?
I can have them. I mean, I have the list that is on the other planting that I got them from the Mass Wetlands
So,
approved
would you
list.
like him to give you a list for plantings in these areas when they come back?
To have any better definition would be helpful.
I can, have sketches for the walkthrough meeting.
So it's labeled dock number 2, is that already there? Dock number 2, is that already there, or is that an addition?
That's an addition.
That's an addition.
So they don't currently have 2 docks? They
They
currently
have one seasonal dock there.
have 1 seasonal dock.
Yeah.
Then now, did that predate the regs, or does that go out past 35 feet, 25 feet as well?
Yeah, no, that one is out, I'm not sure the exact length, but it's over 35 feet, I think, combined with that, and it's got an attached float to it.
Is this the one that goes to the
Float?
to the raft?
Right.
Yeah, they told us it was 75 feet out.
Oh, boy, okay.
Well, no, it was like
No.
40 to 50, right?
Yeah, it's about 4, I think at maximum it's 42, 45 feet, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Well, you can come up if
Come
you
up,
want. and
come
sit
up.
there, yeah.
Well, my name is Matt Kibbe, I'm at 224 The Trail. To clarify, I'd like to show you some
You
pictures.
just got to use the mic too, so that, because they're recording it,
Am I
so,
recording or am I-
See
Yeah.
that, see the microphone
I'm
right
just
there?
talking to that.
yeah.
And if you want to give the board anything, you
I do.
can hand it to me and I'll give it to them.
Pass them along, and I've got them numbered, and I can
That one the same?
State your name again and your address.
Matthew Kibbe, 324 The Trail, and the best lake in the state. Okay, the photos on
Sit
some,
down.
you want me to sit down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to, but,
You don't have to, I'm not for it.
It is your project, so you can sit at the table.
Okay,
Go ahead.
first of all, I would like to thank you guys for having me here, and also for allowing the other cantilever docks on the lake to happen, because I think it's the best, most environmentally safe way to go. The dock doesn't touch the water, and when the construction is done, I'm sure Mark will do it in such a way that there'll be very little disturbance to the shoreline or the landscape. And I'm 70 years old now, and like you guys, I can't do all the maintenance that I used to do on the dock I currently have. I have to raise it onto an oak tree, which is dying because it got attacked by caterpillar gypsy moths in the last 18 years, twice. And it's got 3 or 4 really dead limbs on them. One of them's about to fall in the shed. So I'll be asking conservation for help on that later on, not now. I'll try to keep it as long as I can. But I hoisted the current dock up on that, and I won't be able to do that anymore within 5 years, which means that the ice will destroy the current dock that's there. So for reasons of maintenance and environmental safety, it's the best way to go. And my wife and I want 2 docks because we're going to get a pontoon boat and place it between the 2. We got a lot of family, the kids are growing up, and we need a space for, instead of a ski boat, to put the people in a pontoon boat. And at that part of the lake, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it gets very choppy in the summer. The boats go by and they go slow to look at people's houses, and they make huge wakes. So you have to find a way to secure your boats really well. And those pictures will show what I do at the current point. The current dock I have is 47 feet long. That's too long. I want to make it 35, but I have to go 35, and no less, because the shoreline is shallow there, and I have an issue with the kids, the grandkids, jumping off the dock and hitting their head like happened maybe 20 years ago across the lake, where it was too shallow, 28-foot dock, and they cracked their head open and paraplegic. I don't want that to happen to my kids. So that's one reason, safety. The other one is because I have a boat lift that I've had since 2000, and I need a minimum of 3 feet depth of water, and that doesn't include when the lake is low, 3 feet to allow the boat lift to raise the boat out of the water and drop it in. And you can see that in those pictures. I have them numbered up upper right-hand corner if you have any questions. Some shoreline shots. I even have shots there of what it looks like when drawdown takes place, so you can see how shallow it is. And so I want to do this because I want to do what's right for my wife and I and the grandkids, and I want to do what's environmentally right, and the cantilever dock is the best way to go. It doesn't touch the water, there's no disturbance. The seasonal docks, you got to roll them in, and disturbing the bottom, you got to roll them out, you got to put them on your property someplace, 25, 30 feet, it's an eyesore. But the cantilever docks are made with environment-friendly materials. It looks great year-round, and there's no maintenance. So that's my feeling from a taxpayer, from a homeowner's point of view, from a guy that's been on that lake since I was 2 years old. But if you have any questions on those pictures, be glad to help you with it.
Questions? Thank you.
Well, I mean, since I asked your agent the question, would you have an issue with the access point to the dock being narrowed from, because what's kind of written up on here, we got a 10-foot width here on that 7-foot dock, and it says the top of both counterweights to be grass. So would you have an objection to tightening up that 10-foot into a more narrow space, so you still have access to your dock?
Yes.
But then we can have some natural
Yeah.
vegetation there that is more productive for the lake.
Actually, Mark hasn't changed it, but it's the dock number 1 is supposed to be where dock number 2 is, because my beach is off to the right. And the reason I want at least a 6-foot wide dock is because it gives you more access to the jet ski and the boats and for the kids to jump off the end. And that's a dock they would use. The other dock, the narrower dock, would be used for guests that come by. And I have a lot of friends that come by and they want to park and come in for dinner or something. Just like an extra spot in your garage or driveway, it's a place for people to park. And I don't want any maintenance anymore. I'm sick of the lifting the dock out of the water every year. This is the way to go.
Well, it sounds good, but if you get docks on either side, we're
we'll have
gonna
a
see,
discussion
we're gonna
about
see
that.
you
I don't
come
know.
back in a couple
think
weeks,
they
it
are
sounds
wrong.
like. So,
The beach is to the left. I thought you wanted the narrow dock.
Isn't the beach to the right? Is
No,
that
it's to the
curb?
left on there,
On that one, it is?
yeah, because you've got the boulder, and then your beach starts over there on the left.
All right,
Um,
any other questions?
No.
All right?
Seeing none,
we
continuation?
don't have a
Yep.
DEP.
With regards to 324, the trail, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until December 7th with a site visit scheduled for November 29th.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Eric?
Yes, sir.
Eric Asmar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor.
Rob Bishop in favor?
Austin Stuba in favor.
Ed Goodman in favor. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, sir.
Thank you.
Could you stake where the counterweights are going to be on each of the locations?
Yeah. They're staked out, they were staked out on our previous walk.
Yeah,
I'll make sure that they're done again.
Yeah, I thought some of it was really great, but I haven't got a great memory now.
No,
so,
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll put them back in place
Yeah.
for the 29th.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Good,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, we are now at 263 New Boston Road, continued notice of intent, construction of a single-family house with associated appurtenances. DEP file number 300-1166.
All right, so we have a,
Appurtenances?
yeah.
Can somebody define that for me? I can't
Other
pronounce it.
structures, other things, yeah, yeah.
Becky always likes to use that
I-
word. I just
when I
said
worked- yeah.
associated site work.
I mean,
Yeah.
I use big words, it's kind of my thing, but appurtenance, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Okay,
That's, when I worked at National Heritage, that's how we always wrote it, so I don't know.
Nice.
I don't know.
I like
Got
it.
from them.
no shade, I like it.
Did Glenn put that on there, or did you?
I think I did.
I bet
It just,
Glenn did.
it's a way to summarize, there's a bunch of other
yeah.
stuff going on that site without having to
I like it.
write each thing. So we do have a request for a continuance to the December 7th meeting. They're still working out access for the perk test in the back. I actually did, just so you're aware, I did meet Representative Glenn Krukowski out there, as well as Laney Wilder from Opakam Land Trust. There is a cart path, a different cart path that goes on our Plimpton property, that, if you've ever been to the Plimpton property, when you drive down, it's right before the gate through that area. There is a cart path over there. So we had Opakam take a look at it to see if we and they would allow a 5.5-foot mini excavator to go through that area. There's only like some low bush blueberry and a couple little saplings, like for 10 feet before you get to that path. So it seems like that's probably gonna be a potential option. We're waiting to get an okay from Opakam on that. So, it's probably the best option to get back there to do that perk test. So he wants to do a continuance so he can get that perk test done.
All right. Eric, motion?
Motion to continue the public hearing with regards to DEP file number 300-1166 until December 7th.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Oh, that's, sorry.
I second.
Can you hold for the second on that?
Sorry,
Is there any
Aaron's
way that
correcting
you
me.
can- Is there any way you can just check it?
I thought he asked for the December 7th,
He said in
but
his email.
The meeting
he would like
after.
a continuation to the meeting, I read it as after December 7th, but.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna get another sip of water.
okay.
Well, that would be January, right?
January,
Yeah.
I got him right here.
It will be eventually anyway.
Today, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
today, one second.
Oh, only one in December?
Yeah,
Oh, right here, because it.
unless you
That last one.
want to be coming the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, that garbage, look at that. That's from his bounce
The
back.
next one
No,
would be the
that would be
28th.
the 21st.
Yeah, 7th, 3 weeks.
What'd you find, Becky?
Okay, the meeting after the December 7th meeting, so correct. He's asking for a continuation to our January 4th, 2024 meeting. I
Okay.
apologize.
First item on the agenda.
Amend my motion to reflect January 4th, 2024.
Second that amended motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ed Winglass in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Austin Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right, we are now on to 595 Main Street and Route 20, ROW, Notice of Intent, DOT, Route 20 Drainage Project, DEP file number 300-1175. Did we get the money paid to the, for the access, or are we still continuing?
Still continuing. So they're still working out the easement, but until that, they're just working with the property owner to get him to sign the notice of intent as property owner, and we don't have that yet. So
Yeah.
they're asked to continue to the December 7th meeting, so.
All right,
All right.
continuation?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing with regards to DEP file number 300-1175 until December 7th.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Austin Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Old business.
All right, Becky,
Jeez, I could have gone to Finn's then.
what's next?
Number 13 on here, it wasn't on the detailed agenda because I forgot to include it because it was a last minute thing. Worked with Ed last week, we did an emergency authorization for another beaver dam project. This was to install a flow device. This is on the McKinstry Brook. It's similar to where the National Grid project was, where we did there was 3 beaver dams. We let them move the lower one, which they did. And when they did that, well, it had been brought to our attention that Ladd Road over there was being flooded. So we had the town had them look at that. And he recommended, for the larger of the beaver dams, to put a flow device in to lower that about a foot. We do anticipate there's another dam further north on private property that may at some point in the future, working with that property owner, need to have something done to it to alleviate the flooding on the road, but it was brought to the town's attention that there was flooding on that road as a hazard. So Beaver Solutions did go in last week and put that flow device in. And it was anticipated that the lowering of that water would take some time. It would slowly dewater that area with the flow device, so at no more than a foot.
Where is this located?
So this is, remember the National Grid project we just had?
So that's the one we're talking about?
That same
Yeah.
area, there was 3 beaver dams
Yeah, I
there.
remember that on the plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
So,
ever been up in the back of Ladd Road? We should do a site visit up there, just to show it to you. There's so much water there, you won't believe it. You won't believe it's in Sturbridge.
Or-
Some of it isn't.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I thought,
Nice area.
as long as there's no bees, I'm
Yeah, it's
good.
beautiful.
No bees.
Yep. Anything else?
I was gonna say,
No, I think you just need to
Ratify, we
vote
need
to
a motion.
ratify that.
Okay.
Motion to ratify that, yep.
Vote to ratify the emergency condition.
What's the flow device?
Oh, so
I
it's,
just don't see it on any of the agendas, so so is this like
It's
a,
an emergency.
it's an emergency item?
Yeah.
So-
this one was, yeah.
I just don't know how it works.
So
Okay.
flow device, sorry, so, you know, beaver dams become, right, issues, and one option is you can trap the beavers are gonna come back, you can breach the dam, if the beaver's still there, they're gonna rebuild it. If you trap and you breach the dam, new beavers will move into the area. So this is a long-term solution, where they actually go in, they do a minor breach in the dam, and they put a pipe in essentially. And this pipe, this one that Beaver Solutions uses, he's like the head top beaver guy in this area. He actually creates, the pipe goes down and goes into a deep section, and it's protected.
Didn't you have some pictures?
Well, they had, yeah, he has like a pamphlet. I
Yeah.
can show that to you. I don't have it with me, but, or I could pull it up, I guess, if you want.
I guess
No,
the beavers
that's all
also
right.
cannot, it's disguising the sound of the water.
Going
flowing.
in, so they can't hear it
the beavers are
flowing.
triggered when they hear the noise of the water rushing. And supposedly this device helps move the water without the noise of the rushing water, and so that they don't go and repair it.
Yeah,
Also.
and it doesn't, you can't use it in every situation. It has to be
We
deep
outsmart the
enough.
beavers.
Outsmart them, yeah, yeah.
Who came up with these devices?
Got it going
We've had a
on.
few
He's the
in
king.
town.
He's got a good time.
He also
I mean, a
includes
good
like a
company
maintenance
man.
plan, so he does
I got
monitor
the
them for quite a few years,
Into that business.
as part of that installation, but they're good solutions to learning to live with beavers, and like he said, this area where the beavers are, this is like beaver heaven. But he did say that this dam was like the second scariest one that he's seen in his time, so he thought he wanted to immediately act on it, so that's why we did it last week, so.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the emergency authorization at Lad Road and McKinstry Brook.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion since all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ted Winglass in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. All right. What else, Beck? What do you want to go to?
Committee updates, I didn't have time to write an agent's report, I apologize, so I didn't really have any.
Well, under old business, I had asked the last time just to get clarification, around whether or not we have to go through the work to access the solar project abutters, when we go on site. Did you get a chance to ask the attorney for the relevant case law that they looked
did.
at?
Yep, yep,
to
sorry, yep.
to validate and verify that?
So I
Just doesn't feel like we should be
Well-
responsible for that.
well,
Stuck that
and I
on the
meant that,
back.
sorry, I meant to forward you that response. So he said that he wasn't aware of it, but he said upon rereading my email, he felt that it wasn't your responsibility to have to get authorization to go on the property, and that they would have to do it, and failure to do so would be insufficient information.
All right, well,
So he
hey.
apologized and said he reread it. I will forward it if you'd like to read it.
I just,
Yeah.
it just didn't pass the sniff test, so it didn't make sense to me.
And I think with the consultants, though, I think that, like engineers and stuff like that, it's different under that Massachusetts law. If they provide the notification, they can go out there, but yeah, different for you guys.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
All right, so I always like hearing I'm right, too, so, that's
Is
good.
everyone available to go on the 29th? Because we are, and Becky and I have already been, so, to those
I'm
dogs.
here, I'll go.
Okay.
So we do,
I'm good in the morning, my afternoon is,
Yeah, how many sites we looking at, so I know how much time I
there was gonna be,
Depends on if we get
two.
any applications too.
right, the deadline for the next meeting isn't until next week, and we might have a few. One being, we might be getting the Big Alum Lake Treatment filing, which you'll be out there, you don't need to go out there for that, but we'll be going out there for those other things. So I'm aware that might be a potential
It's at the
application.
junkyard, right?
So we have to go to the junkyard on the 20th?
We may not be going there now, I gotta check with town council on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then the solar, we had that tentatively scheduled, the solar on 200 Haynes. I would probably do that one first, just because we will be meeting people there. So we can do that one first unless we still go to the junkyard, but some things have changed since then, so.
Okay.
Well, that sounds ominous.
Yeah. Anything else?
Could have predicted that.
Nothing from CPA. Starting to get active, though, people looking for money, different things. We're gonna do a survey, see what the townspeople want. So, that'll be coming up.
With regards to trails, and I know you're not trails responsible, but I know you're, do you expect that there'll be some applications coming to us for work that they're gonna wanna do in the spring? I know they came out to
Yes.
give
Yeah,
that presentation a few months ago, and we just
yeah,
haven't
no,
seen anything.
they're continuing to move forward. They're getting rights of way through land, through the public house and through Lynn Sardi, and they've got 9 different right-of-ways that they're connecting trails with off town property, so.
Yeah, so, we just had a meeting with the consultants and the engineers who'll be helping with some of what Ed's talking about. So there's a couple big projects that are going through with the town right now. One is the continuation of the Grand Trunk Trail off of Farquhar to Haynes Route 15 over here. That has some easements. We had a meeting, I sat in on that. Ty and Bond will be taking that project on, as well as the bridge that might go over the Quinnebog River behind the new parking lot at 501 Main Street that's being built. So they're working on continuation with the Grand Trunk Trail, but I think what you were asking was some of those other projects, Long Pond. They are still looking at Long Pond. I think Ed and I might be going out there
We're
this
going
coming Tuesday.
We're going out Tuesday.
Just to go look at it again. We walked out there before, I think with Carson on one of our site visits, just to look at it again. Didn't know that everybody would want or
You
be
guys
able to
seen it?
go.
I mean, a while back.
The pipes,
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it needs to be worked on, but it also, I was just curious, is there a permit coming in front of us or an application
Yeah,
for a
it's gonna be-
permit coming in front of us?
Yeah, that's the only one at some point in the future. Someone will have to draw that up, which I think DPW might be helping with that and get an NOI file. So at some point, that one, the other properties, I'm not sure.
How do you think we
that-
should do that? Are you one of the take the pipes outers, or you have the trail over, right?
What?
Yep, it's on Long Pond,
Yeah,
trail over, right?
I mean, I would say, you see a lot of towns and land trusts doing boardwalks. And even with Ty and Bond, with our parking lot where we're going through a wetland, they're like, oh, we're gonna have to put a boardwalk through there, like boardwalk. I honestly, I think a boardwalk there would be good. I know they wanna be able to get their vehicles over it
Yeah.
for maintenance
The
purposes.
project we did on Wells State Park,
They did a nice couple
They did a
boardwalks
really
over
nice
problematic
job.
areas.
problem areas with wetlands and stream, they just put a boardwalk. It was a lot less disturbance there. It was a good job.
See that in a lot of sensitive areas,
Right.
a lot of wildlife refuges are
A
boardwalk.
lot of the vineyard, Chappie where I summer, they have boardwalks, and they've done a beautiful job of them.
Yeah.
And year to year, they look fine. They have to go through and clear them, clean them, but they're just getting bikes.
Right.
They don't go in there on ATVs and stuff.
Right.
Well, we don't let people either, except for
Except they do.
they want to have
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
get back there for maintenance. I mean, there is another potential
Yeah.
option to get through. Right, I think for sensitive areas, we really should be looking at boardwalks. It's a lot less impact. It's a lot easier for permitting because you don't have,
Yeah.
you're impacting a wetland, you got to replicate. You got to show all these things. So I think it's just a good solution for that area, in many of our areas.
And then our friends over at Mount Dan and the email that came over, I mean, I have sympathy for it, but I think at the same time, something's got to be done to make sure that gets armored and protected. And it sounds like from the email that nobody's claiming responsibility for ownership of that road. It's not town road, right? So do we need to just ask the assessor who's responsible for the road and figure out how to
Every property
I
owner is
think every property
responsible for their
owner owns
part.
in front of their home.
to the midpoint of the road, right?
Unless they own the other side of the road.
Each one's a little different.
Oh,
And that's one of the only roads that actually, a lot of the private roads, with the assessor's maps, it doesn't show it accurately, it shows it as a road there. This one actually shows a lot of where properties cross over. So sometimes the property line might be the middle of the road, sometimes it's on the other side of the road. So they're all a little different. So it's multiple property owners. I forget how many they said, 20-something.
Yeah, I don't want to hassle people, but the reality is, we can't just have people go in there with machetes, clear it out, cause a disturbance that's going to create all that milky water to go through there and just claim, well, I did the right thing, right? I mean, it's just not, maybe, probably not, because what I saw was not, it may have been an improvement over what was there, but it certainly wasn't done in a proper way, and it wasn't armored, and it wasn't, there was no proper erosion controls put in there. So, I mean, I don't think it's proper for us to just leave it be, and we got to figure out what, I mean, just one person's opinion, but we should at least figure out how to get that protected, get that armored, and get it vegetated, and get some riprap in the areas that need to stop the silting that would happen. It's just going to continue to erode, right? So, just my opinion.
Some areas are worse than others. I mean, I did reach out and got comment from DPW on suggestions, and there is a section of that road at the beginning that is town property, that suggestions that she would like to see there too. So, you know, what we had asked was to meet out there and kind of look at things and kind of go over them, to discuss that, and from either the contractor or the person kind of in charge, you know, it's not a formal, I've been told, road association. What's that?
The spokesperson.
There we go, yeah, spokesperson. No one has
Who is the
replied.
spokesperson?
Tom
Tom?
Faxon Jr.
Is he the spokesperson
I,
for those four that he said?
he's the person that I reached out to.
I know.
I don't know who signed the contract, you know, I don't know that answer, so if that would be the spokesperson or not, I don't know. If that's different or not.
Yeah, whoever paid Piapi, that's the spokesperson, right? I mean.
Well, from what it said in the letter, they individually paid him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so,
It's just, I mean, we can't just let things hang out like that. That sets a bad precedent. It's a bad look, right? And it clearly wasn't done right. It may have been done for the right reasons, but sometimes you do the wrong, you do the wrong thing for the right reasons, and you still need to make it right.
I agree with you. I'm sitting here quietly. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Unfortunately, this is a very odd position for us to be in.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know what the solution.
So let's celebrate.
They've been doing it this way for time immemorial. And
Yeah, but this was dramatic. I mean, you see where that silting was up on those telephone
agree.
poles. What
I
is
agree.
it? 2.5 feet, 3 feet?
I disagree.
Just scraped?
Yeah.
And that's fine, but they got to do something to armor that, because all that's going to do is continue to erode. I don't know. Just
You know,
anyway, I think we should figure out a way to have that addressed in a way that doesn't get, you know, acrimonious. But I mean, I think if they care about what they claim they care about, which is the protection of the lake and the wetlands and everything around, because everybody says the same thing, then we should be able to come up with something in a relatively low-cost solution to get that fixed. It doesn't seem like it would be absorbently expensive to kind of protect that.
I don't disagree, but that's not the solution, because the solution is you have to go across each individual entity's property in order to get to it.
I know.
And so forth and so on, so.
Would you like me to, now that we sent that letter, reach back out to them to see if someone would be willing to meet a couple representatives, a couple of us out there to kind of go over some of those areas of concern?
They didn't even give you the names.
Well, the problem is that there's certain areas that are affected and some areas are not. I mean,
Well, yeah.
certain property owners have more problems than others.
Greater stake.
Technically, if it's on your property, right, it's your
Right.
responsibility, even if it wasn't.
I know it's not easy, and I don't want to hassle people, but at the same time, we can't just let that lay there and sit. So,
I mean, would
found myself in a very odd position agreeing with Ed.
the town's
kidding.
DPW department be able to, because it's work, some of the work was on a town road. I mean, it's not just the Conservation Commission suggestion.
Jurisdiction.
Couldn't another entity also
Like it's a selectmen's
say,
jurisdiction.
yeah, couldn't someone else say, hey, you worked on town property without permission, and that's not really just us?
Yeah, no,
All right, well, we can table the discussion till next time. I just didn't want to let it die with that
I
letter.
think if you're gonna have a discussion like that, you ought to put it as agenda item though, and invite the people that are affected by it.
There you go, we should,
If
we
they
could
show
tell
up,
them
they
we're
show
gonna
up,
have
and
a
we
talk
can
about
all
it at the
listen.
next meeting, and they can be invited. If you'd like.
I would be for that.
Can we withhold funds to Big Allen for the treatment until they come in and talk to us about Mount Dan?
Oof, calling a code red. Yeah. We're holding big funds for
I'll
Mount
be
Dan.
traveling a lot that month.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go with you. I'll carry it back.
So if they file for our next meeting, every person within 200 feet of Big Allen will be notified of their management plan, so there might be people from the lake already here at the next meeting. But right, I think time's gone by a little bit, and, you know, probably don't want to wait too much longer. You know, I think that we were trying to just work with them at first and get that site visit and walk out there, and I still think that getting out there and kind of talking about solutions for certain areas is a good idea, but if you want, we can ask them to come to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it sounds like, you know, I'm unfamiliar with what, other than what I've heard tonight and what I heard recently. So it'd be good to see it.
If you drive
But
out
we're gonna
there,
have a
it's pretty
discussion
obvious.
about it.
You're going
It should be an
to,
agenda item
I
at
would
some
say when you
point.
drive out there for the 29th, you'll see it.
Oh, yeah, because we're going to Mount Dan.
yeah.
It's private road. We go on the private road.
Yeah.
Part of it is a town road at the beginning.
I'm good with that.
Can look at it.
It's good.
Wander across the
Yeah.
border, we'll see what happens.
They get a chart-mounted Humvee to escort us.
It's publicly accessible. It's a private road, but go, do it.
No, you.
I never close the meetings.
Make a motion to close the meeting, adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
I
Aye.
This conference is